Hi, I'm Catherine McLeish, and today I would like our Grow With Me session to be about relationships. And it's going to be a little bit more sensitive, but if it resonates with you, then the tools that I'm sharing are just going to be very valuable. And I'd like to go back into maybe my early 30s when this really kind of surfaced as a problem for me, and I had to figure out what I was going to do in order to make my life just more enjoyable. So I'm in my early 30s and I had done some work on myself, and I really felt for the effort that I was putting forth that things should be running a lot more smoothly, and they just weren't. I had a lot of problems in relationships, and I'm not talking about relationships with men. I'm speaking more to the give and take and the back and forth with family members and siblings. And I just had nothing when I would come together with different siblings, and I wanted to have, a healthy relationship. So the best example that I can give is my older brother, Richard. He was 2 years older than me, and growing up, we had 10 kids in our family, and we were very rambunctious. And when my parents weren't around, we would often just argue, and then it would escalate, and it would end up in physical fighting, and may the best kid win. Well, I was really good at starting arguments with my mouth, but I was never very good at finishing them physically. And my brother Richard, who was just 2 years older than me, kind of really enjoyed that after a while. And so I would get angry and I would start something, and then he would kind of tease me and push it and push it. And then we'd be in this physical fight. And of course, I would always lose. He was very athletic, and he was tough. And so it happened again and again, and he would, tease me and make fun of me. And I know me. I was not a very nice sister. And so I know I did a lot to, start these things. I probably was just not fun to live with. And I don't remember that as much as I remember what he did to me. And that was the whole problem, because I did. I remembered it until I'm in my 30s, and I have nothing to give my brother, and he is coming back into town after moving out of state at probably the age of 19. And, he would come back into town, and I would, be with him, and he would be so kind and so loving, and he would compliment me on how my life was going, and he was so happy for me and the changes, and he would, tell me how wonderful my daughters were. And I'd be sitting there, and I had nothing emotionally, physically, or mentally to give to that brother. And it became such a block. It was so frustrating that I ended up having to go to someone and try to get some help to sort through it. So I did quite a bit of writing and then sharing and talking about it over and over again until I came to realize what was going on. Now, back when my brother was, 15, 17 years old, and I was 10, 12, 15, we had this, tumultuous relationship. And I got to the point where, in order to protect myself, in order to just get past the pain and the anger, I did this thing, and it's very real to me. It's an analogy, but it is as real as can be. I took my brother Richard, and I put him in a box. And I put him up on the shelf, and I said, I am done with you, and you can't hurt me anymore. And that is where he stayed. He might have come and gone in my life. He might have tried to share and talk with me, but as far as I was concerned, he was still in that box, and he wasn't getting out, because I wasn't going to set myself up to ever be hurt again. So here I am in my 30s, and I want relationships. I want, something good to come of the time we spend together, and it's not happening. And after this, writing and talking, I realized that I was doing things to improve my life, and I was so hungry for people to look at me and see that and acknowledge it and compliment me. Wow, you're such a better mother. You're being so much more responsible, and all of that. And yet I was totally unable to give other people the benefit of the doubt for the change and the growth that they might have made since the last time that I really tried to interact with them on a mature level. So, what I had to do in order to get anywhere in this relationship, it happened when my brother came back into town from Texas or Oklahoma, and it was my wedding. And he did that because he had grown into a mature, responsible, caring man. And there he was, and we had this one on one at my reception. And I broke down into tears and I said, "You know, Richard, I owe you an apology. Um, when we were young and you hurt me, and I'm sure it was 50-50, but when I got hurt and I didn't know how to handle it in a mature way, I just severed my relationship with you. And I put you in this box, and I wasn't going to let you out because I didn't want to be hurt. And what I need to apologize for is all the years that I kept you from having any relationship with me or my girls because I did not try to see you as anything other than when you were 17 or 18 years old. And for that, I'm sorry, and I hope you will forgive me, and maybe we could try again." Now, what happened at that time was monumental. It was like this big iron thick wall melted. And, my brother, I think, was always willing as an adult to have a relationship with me. But that wall melted so that I could get to him. And it started a relationship that wasn't buddy buddy, best of friends. It was just what you might think. It was just the beginning steps of having a grown up brother sister relationship that we deserve to have, that he deserved to have for all of these years. Now, that letting someone out of the box, that giving them the benefit of the doubt that maybe in the time since they hurt me, they have changed and grown, it is a really beneficial thing to do on all sorts of levels. And I'm not saying, if there is a really serious, severe hurt between two people. I am not a therapist, and I do not, claim to be an expert on anything. These are just situations that, like, for other examples, I was an adult single parent, and I was struggling so much financially because I'd taken a lot of debt from our marriage, and I was just in over my head working 3 jobs, and my mentor had advised me to go and talk to my parents, not to borrow money, but just to let them know what was going on in my life. And I so did not want to do that. My pride, I didn't want them to think I wanted anything. And yet, when I did it, mainly for the love of my mentor, I went over and I did it. These parents that I thought would say, "You made your bed, you lie in it," or "We told you that wasn't a good idea to get married, to that man at that young point of your life." Well, you know what? They looked at me with love and said, "We had no idea. We had no idea you were struggling like this." And they didn't hand me a bunch of money. They supported me in what I needed to do. And it opened up this gate of feeling like I wasn't alone. I didn't have to be alone. There were people that cared about me and wanted to be a part of my life, but I had to do some work on my end in order to let them in. Now, flash forward to today, I can put my husband in that box. I have put my husband, Scott, has been in that box a lot more times than I want to admit. And on a smaller level, it may be he's trying to change. He's trying to not, make a rule for everything because he doesn't want the same mistakes to happen in our house that have happened over and over again for, lack of us being willing to change or do things different. And he will want to change. And because he's been that way so long, I will ride him or razz him or ridicule him in the same way that I've always done for the rule making, because I won't let him change. I won't let him out of the box. I won't give him that clean slate that allows him to be a different person, trying harder to do what is best for, the things in our family. So I can put all kinds of people in boxes. I can put girlfriends in boxes. siblings in boxes, my parents, my spouse, even my children, and not allow them the benefit of the doubt for being more than they were yesterday, more than they were last week, more than they were last year. So if this tool can help you just, thinking, who in my life am I struggling with? And is it possible that I put them in a box and I've seen them in this one way and I've not allowed them to get outside of where I froze them in? If this is something that you can give a try, I'm really hoping that you will experience some of what I did, and that was just the melting down of walls, all different sizes, so that I could go forward and really have a partnership relationship with the people around me and reap the benefits that has allowed me to reap in my everyday life. So, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching my videos. And if they help in any way, please share them, like them, pass them on so that we can all, as women, help each other to have the best life, the best relationships that we possibly can. Thank you.